Let's talk about Myles Garrett, this Browns defense. Colb, I've seen you tweet this a couple times. Would you like to talk about the war crimes of one Joseph Woods?
I gotta settle myself down.
He took a deep breath.
I gotta settle myself down. I get emotional when I talk about it.
He get emotional.
I get emotional. I want y'all to understand something. I have never in my life advocated for a black man to be incarcerated. But Joe Woods is a fucking criminal. And I want him to be arrested today. We had Browns fans all over the place thinking a bunch of dudes who are currently playing on the best defense in the NFL were terrible, were awful, no good. And the second he leaves, we have the number one defense in the NFL with most of the same guys we had the year prior with the defense stuff.
Not just the number one defense, Colb. They're talking about this defense being as good as the one that won that Super Bowl with Peyton Manning in Denver.
And I don't even know if they're that good, but the fact that we're getting those comparisons in the first place should let everybody know how terrible Joe Woods was. The worst defensive coordinator we may have ever had.
All I'm saying is this defense has played 3 MVP candidates and beat them all.
What more needs to be said? But we can go beyond the Browns. We can go beyond the Browns when I talk about Joe Woods. You know who else is having a great year this year? Jadeveon Clowney of the Baltimore Ravens. Having a phenomenal season. You think he's top 10 in pressures right now. Phenomenal season for Baltimore. Joe Woods was terrible. Awful. Worst defensive coordinator maybe we've ever had in Cleveland. Quite possibly the worst we've ever had. Hate him. Hate him with every fiber it might be. Hate him.
Yeah, like this. I don't know how anybody doesn't see this season as nothing but a complete indictment of how bad that man was at his job, or at least how much those guys wanted to not play for him. Because like we used to be like, this defense folds. This defense, they don't fight like they should. No, they fight. They just didn't fight for him. Like, it's incredible. And it's not like Jim Schwartz is doing anything crazy. They just like playing for him. Like, that's really the difference.
Look at Jordan Elliott.
Yeah, Jordan Elliott being good after like looking like one of the worst players in the NFL. It's a direct indictment. Like, I bet Andrew Berry is in there like, man, Perry on, if you just could have had it under control. You was right. You was almost there. You was Maurice Hurst. Like, the Browns went from having a defensive tackle room that had 4 plates of absolute doo-doo with the side of nothing. Just the side of nothing. I was about to say, so let's go get this video demonetized. So I'm going to just censor myself. But they had that last year. All of these defensive tackles that are playing are good. I get messaged every week, why isn't Siaki Ika playing? Because he ain't no fucking room for him. Everybody else too good. You gotta play Shelby Harris, who's been balling. You gotta play Maurice Hurst, who's been balling. Jordan Elliott, who's been balling. And Dalvin Tomlinson, who's the best of all.
Dalvin Tomlinson. Dog, Joe was
all 4 of these guys are way better than they were, like way better than last year's defensive tackles. Like every single one of them. I bet Siaki is probably better than all those defensive tackles we had last year. It is the biggest indictment I've ever seen. Like, all they really did was add, like, 2 names? They added Dalvin Tomlinson, Juan Thornhill, and Zadarius Smith. That's all they added, right? They didn't really add anybody else. They added 3 names, got rid of you.
if you want to be real, Jadeveon's probably playing better than Za'Darius is right now, and they had him last year.
Yeah, he's in a good spot.
In my mind, it's really just two. It's really just two.
Yeah, like you basically Za'Darius and Jadeveon are pretty similar at this point. And you added Juan Thornhill, who's like been in and out the lineup. You're talking about just adding Dalvin Tomlinson, basically. Like that was the major acquisition. Because you had John Johnson last year. And who knows how good John Johnson actually is. Like that was the one addition you made. You basically got Dalvin Tomlinson and gave him the boot, and you went from the worst defense historically against the run in the last 20 years to they might be better than the Denver Broncos with Von Miller in his prime. Just because you're not there. Dog.
Worst defensive coordinator we've ever had.
Hey, man.
Jim
like
Schwartz
we said.
He came in. It was like, dang, that's all I got to do.
It was a ready-made situation. Hey, look, I know Kevin. Look, Kevin knew he was covering for his homeboy because he ain't getting no coach that had to create it, right? He could have got that. He could have got one of them coaches that got to create it. You know what I mean? Brian Flores or something like that. Nah, he was like, I need somebody to chaperone the defense. That's why I need a grown up to chaperone this defense because we got all the pieces. Andrew Berry and Kevin Newton. It was like, let's go get Jim Schwartz. He gonna chaperone this. And Jim Schwartz was like, all I gotta do is chaperone? Yeah. Okay. Walked in first day, saw Myles Garrett do some stuff. Okay, gonna be pretty easy here. Like, gonna be pretty. Then he saw all these quarters come. He's like, oh yeah, okay. We just go run man. We gonna do anything else? We might throw some six. We'll run two. We'll run two every once in a while. Yeah, I mean, we throw some over at him. That's it. That's basically it. That's the playbook. You sure? Yeah. And we gonna, in the meantime, we gonna learn these jams. We gonna get these daps right. We gonna get these dances. That's what we gonna do. And they got them daps. They got them dances. And they balling.
Oh, they got it down. They got it down.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, man. Goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Sometimes intelligence is knowing when you don't got to be that smart, right? When a solution does not require you to be a genius. And Jim Schwartz figured that out. I don't got to be a genius to coach this Browns defense. All I got to do is be a chaperone and let Myles and Denzel do the heavy lifting. That's all you got to do. That's really it. You got Myles Garrett on the team. It's not hard to get pressure. Just let him play. That's all you got. If you want to get pressure, just let Myles Garrett play. Move him around every once in a while so he keeps getting one-on-one. That's all you got to do. Your pressure plan ain't, how can I overload the edge and try to confuse them into stunt and twist and see what we could do to confuse the tackle and the bleeding. You ain't got to do none of that strategic shit. He's like, all right, Myles, get in front of the guard. I had to do it. That do it. If y'all just move forward and Myles goes at that guard, we gonna get a pressure. Like that's all he gotta do. It's not difficult. That's
oh my God, Joe Woods is a criminal, man.
That was all. I bet Kevin was like, all you gotta do is just let this cook. What are you doing, Joe? What are you doing? Look, we talked about this before. I bet Kevin gave him one of those. Brother. You gonna make me have to do something that's gonna hamper our friendship. Like, brother, I'm gonna need you to find God.
I don't even think that's what Kevin said for real. I think Kevin said, I think he looked him right in his eye. I think he said, hey, you know you're my boy, but rather you than me. That's the end of the conversation.
Nah, you know what happened? You know what happened after that Jets game? Came up to Joe. Hey, man, you my mans. And because you my mans, I'm going to let you know. You got till January 1st get your shit and have a plan, because you will not be coming back after this year. We ain't got to let everybody else know. But just understand, this your last year. You understand me? But no buts. No buts, Joseph. No. Nah. We had to lead. We were up 17 points, Joseph. Offense ain't touched the ball again. Like the same way he got rid of Preef, who was his mentor. No. I bet some speed. Look, they lost that game in New York, and Kevin's not going to fire nobody that day because he's professional. But I bet some people knew that they weren't coming back next year after that game. Like, we were doing all this yelling about if Joe Woods should get fired or not last year. Let me tell you something. I think they knew by the end of September Joe Woods was not coming back. Like,
oh, Lord. Oh, man.
That was rough. But it's better now.
Fuck Joe Woods. Fuck Joe Woods, dog.
Oh, it's man. Vulgar.
Never. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You feel more strongly about Joe Woods than I did about Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith never held my football team back. That's why.
That's precisely the problem with Roquan Smith now, isn't it? He don't ever hold you back. He a motivational speaker at linebacker. How does that happen? But
oh man.
Yeah, the Browns defense is better, so much better. Myles Garrett is so much. Myles Garrett got 11 sacks. He's played 9 games. Right now, he already has the number 1 and 2 single season sack records for the Cleveland Browns, right? He's broken the record twice. Mm-hmm. If you count all of the best single season sack numbers for the Browns, Myles Garrett's already at number 9. So yeah. I was thinking about this, Colb. I think we take Myles Garrett for granted.
We absolutely do. 100%.
The Browns, before Myles Garrett in the expansion era, had 3 players 3 times get over 10 sacks. Do you know who those 3 players are?
Three players get over it. I'm racking my brain trying to.
I'll give you the years.
Okay.
2014, 2001, 2006. None of these are memorable names.
2014. Nah, you have to tell me. I can't. I really can't think.
Paul Kruger in 2014.
Paul Kruger.
2006, Cameron Wembley.
Okay.
2001, Jameer Miller.
Yeah, man, I don't want to get that.
So, in 20 years, in the 17 or 18 years before Myles Garrett, this franchise existed, 3 times over 10 sacks. Myles Garrett has been in the league 7 years. He's had 10 sacks 6 times. We take it for granted. We take it so for granted.
I thought I just saw the stat that he had 7 seasons of 10 plus sacks.
I don't know where that stat came from, because he didn't have 10 his rookie year. He had 7.5.
That's so weird they put that up there.
Yeah, because I remember seeing, I was like, that can't be right, because that would mean he was in the league 8 years. But yeah, he had 12.5 his second year. I believe he had 10 in 2019 because he smacked Mason Rudolph in the helmet the year after. I think he had 13 or something, 13.5 the year after that. It is 16-16 something. There's a 10 sack season somewhere in between there. Okay, we don't even remember all of these 10 sack. I can remember all of the other 10 sack seasons that they had before Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, 6 years, he's had so many 10 sack seasons, we don't even remember which ones were which. Like, it's just routine. This dude just gets 10 sacks and we're like, well, he's not even close to expectation. People are complaining about a 16 sack back-to-back run that he had. Colb, he put up 16 back-to-back, and it looked like he might get 22 this year. Okay? It's insane. Man. What's he on track to get? Like, he's on track to get like 20?
He got a chance. He got a real good chance to get 20.
And he played the Bears at home. And let me tell you, this defense is hell at home. Like, on the road, you got a shot. If you a really good team, you got a shot on the road. At home, ooh.
It's different.
If you don't score on your first drive at the Brown in Cleveland, it is a rap dog. You are gonna have one of those days that the Browns gonna put on a postcard. We're like, did you know that we held the Cardinals to 56 total yards? Like, nah. Like, they did this. Here's how crazy it is. They held the Bengals to 150 yards total. They held at home. They held the Titans to under 100, and we were like, there's no way they have a better game than that. Well, Clayton Tune shows up and they hold somebody under 60. Meanwhile, Joe Woods.
NFL game is crazy.
Meanwhile, Joe Woods probably never held one running back on a defense he coordinated under 60 yards with basically the same unit. Nah, man. If Eric Bieniemy don't get a job, it's Joe Woods' fault. Like, I'm blaming Joe Woods. I blame him. Like, Cleveland has not done a good thing for the cause by hiring Hugh Jackson and Joe Woods. Like, we got to help people out. Like, it's a good thing we hired Jim Schwartz. You know what I mean? Not just for the Browns, but for everybody else too. Because we wasn't doing anybody no favors by hiring Joe Woods and employing him. Like, we didn't do Joe Woods no favors by keeping him employed. Nah, dog, that's just bad. That crazy. Yeah, but at home, man, I don't want nothing to do with them. And, like, what are the Browns' remaining home games this year? They play Pittsburgh next week, which, look out. That could be, the Myles Garrett might have one of those games where Pittsburgh fans might have to start finally putting some respect on his name. Hey, Trevor Lawrence, good luck, man. He plays us at home.
Oh, yeah, good luck. They coming here?
Yeah, they're coming here to Cleveland.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Is it? We just compared his numbers to Derek Carr.
I'll say that's gonna be a good one for us.
I thought you was gonna say like that was gonna be a good game. I don't know.
That's gonna be a good one.
Bears. Justin, sit that one out, bro. Thursday night at home, Jets.
That's an interesting one.
Let me tell you who that's not interested for. The Jets offense. Like, look, even if Aaron Rodgers can't come back, he's not playing in that game.
No, 100%
no. So, yeah. So the Browns' 3 home opponents are 3 offenses that have been inconsistent at best. Struggling would probably be the best way to put it. Yeah, they might put up some historic home splits. And let me tell you something. It's not just that the teams that they play are bad. Like, they are just a different defense at home.
They really are.
Like, yeah, this is a team that you really like. If you're not in the North, well, if you're like a fan of a not Browns team, you don't want them to get a home playoff game. You don't want them to get like the 2 seed or something, or the 1 or 2 seed. You don't want this team at home. This team is different at home. They are insane.